Today, Rinpoche explained how there are a fixed number of perfections based on method and wisdom and the three highest higher trainings.
Chenmo.
Anything. Just a napkin. Shoot.
No.
Chalk. Okay. Okay, so now specifically what we're looking at is the section that deals with, we're getting into the six perfections. And specifically on the six perfections section, we have those relating to one's own needs, and then those that are relating to others' needs. So let me just find exactly the fixed number of perfection based on fulfilling the two aims. So we have a discussion of the main topic, the fixed number of perfections, and then an ancillary discussion under how all precepts are included in the six perfections. And then under the discussion of the main topic, we are now at the fixed number of perfection based on fulfilling the two aims, those aims for oneself and those aims for others. And the So if one wishes to practice the bodhisattva deeds, then it's necessary to engage in the practice of the six perfections. Those deeds are all included within those six practices or those six perfections. Angigare Rinpoche.
Tejen dubala dubi drangenes, the das, Ronshanye bala machashin, Manye badando, many Ronshula matawa dance.
You know, the trunka, the garde, what page?
Sonja Juju, the Ijina. Sonja Juju.
Okay, so I'm going to find exactly where we are in the Tibetan and in the English. So if we're on 360, which would begin somewhere around there.
Tejen dubala dubi drangenes, Jigi del Lojige.
Tejen Tamche Su. Tejen.
Razo ngeda kudetindekishu.
Tejen. Rangjin.
Sonja Juju, Tejen dubala dubi drangenes.
Okay.
What did you know about
Tejen Tamche.
Tejen dubala
Okay.
dubi drangenes.
Tejen Tamche.
Tejen dubala dubi shindu drangenes. Shindu. Tejen dubala dubi drangenes. So what kuzo insha anga tenhuranga.
Okay, so in Tibetan we're on page 360. In the English we are on Techen Tamche Dupa. So you can attain the Techen Tamche. Techen Tamche, fixed number base, first you achieve poverty. La Dupa. I'm just trying to find exactly where we are in the English, because it says that all vehicles can be subsumed. Fixed number, base number, Techen Tamche
Techen
Jubala Dupi Drange.
Teche Tanje Dubala Dubi Jang as ordinary.
Okay, so the fixed number of okay, that's where we must be. Okay, so the fixed number of perfections. So page 107 in the English. D, the fixed number of the jipa. Rinpoche? The fixed number of perfection based on their fixed number of perfections based on their subsuming the entire Mahayana. So that's, I believe, where we're beginning. If I'm mistaken, well, correct, but I believe that's exactly where we are.
Longshe Nebala Messaging, Longshe Dal, Kambatan, Le Longshe, Nebala, and Machaging,
Chaba Yomare.
Chaba Yomares, Maneba to Menu, Longshe Matawa dance, Maneba to Menu, Longshe Matawa dance. The Yena, Longshe Yobaina, Saratan, Kambala Soba to Yobaina, and then Habasun Nebe. 13 legends, and then Labasun Nebe, 13 years and Wures, 13 nearby 13, but it's 13. 13 years old legend, the Lagoba dance, 13 Lagobaji Wures. Sentient, Mayambala Tembe, then show you, Dungela, Zebe Majoa dance, Gale Juna, Juna.
The Tamche indicate the Lona?
Sentient Dubala Dubi Jang and the Da. Longshe Nebala Machaging, and then Maneba to Menu, Longshe Matawa dance. Longshe Diana, and then Grondon Gutu, and then Guinea Dombala Son Nugres, the Yena, Labason Nebe, and the Switzerland was Guinea Dombala Sube, and the Magic Switzerland about the Nugres. Legends, de la Goba Jewures, student de la Goba dance, Gale.
Okay. So the fixed number of perfections based on their subsuming the entire Mahayana. You are indifferent to resources because you are not attached to those you have and do not pursue those you lack. Since you then have the ability to safeguard precepts, you adopt and respect ethical discipline. You are patient with the suffering that comes from living beings and inanimate things, and you are enthusiastic about whatever virtue you set out to cultivate, so you do not get dispirited by either of these. You cultivate a non-discursive yoga of meditative serenity and non-discursive yoga of insight. So here it's saying that these 6 perfections are practiced in the following ways. So there are examples, and it's showing the qualities that one has if he or she is a practitioner of the Bodhisattva way. So if one is a practitioner, then he or she does not become attached to the resources or the wealth that they have. So if they have things or they don't have things, there isn't any attachment to getting them, nor an attachment to the things that one already possesses. So here when it speaks of not pursuing, that means not, this is really speaking of the attachment, things you lack. If there's, translator's note, if there's something that, it's not saying if there's something that you need, don't go get it. It's just saying, it's talking more about, in the Tibetan, the attitude related to the things you have and the things that you pursue. And that you don't feel that you need material things in order to be satisfied. Since you have the ability to safeguard precepts, you adopt and respect ethical discipline. So when we look at the various types of pratamoksha vows, for instance, we have the ones which are observed by those who are ordained, such as the fully ordained and novice monk and nun's vows, but then we also have householder vows, precepts for those who are not ordained, the 5 Mahayana or 5 layperson vows. So we all have the ability to safeguard those, even if we are not ordained. So Rinpoche said that even if you are not ordained, you have the ability, speaking from Rinpoche, even though you are not ordained, you have the ability to practice these precepts of the lay person. So this would apply to all practitioners, those who are ordained and those who are not ordained, this practice of the Bodhisattva way through the practice of the six perfections. Dene?
Seje da seje ma yinba la tenne shong yu dongen la zebe ma jo dans
Less so.
dongen de la rini yo seje la tenne shong yu dongen da seje ma yinba la tenne shong yu dongen ni
Less so.
o de la zoba gon urs no je la jema nya ba zoba dongen da lan ju zoba chu la nga seje zoba la zoba o de dongen shong su na ni seje la tenne dongen ka rs na da nga su che so ja da bug bit chigo soja da woten sijen la den dunga yorwa de sijen la den dunga res sijen mai bala den dunga karasna sabu chasuna an chai dunga do jamu chasuna chai dunga do sijen mai bala den dunga do sumarbe wat do zi sarwata sijen da sijen mai bala den ne shuyu dunga shusuna an dunga la zoba gungu res dunga tan lan ju zoba ne neje la jema nya bu zoba zoba gombe de ngal joje ju maris ma joja ures ma joa dans what the college na.
Okay, so here it says you are patient with suffering that comes from living being and inanimate things, and enthusiastic. So Rinpoche said, let's speak of this. So patience. So here there are two different divisions that are given for things which you are to have patience for, things that you have to overcome through patience. So first would be from suffering that comes from living beings. So there's various ways that we can divide patience. We can also divide it into developing patience of disregarding harm done to you, developing patience of accepting suffering, and developing the patience of the certitude about the teaching. So this is another way that one can divide patience. But in this category, we're speaking of patience in relation to inanimate and animate. So an animate object would be, for instance, a suffering that comes from a sentient being. So how does a sentient being give you suffering? So for instance, a dog bites you or a bug bites you. This is a suffering that is brought on by a sentient being, an animate object, a sentient mind possessor. So this is the first type of patience, patience towards harm done by an animate object. Patience that we're referring to inanimate things would be, for instance, when one becomes overly hot because of the weather. So hot weather would be an example of a suffering of heat that comes from hot weather. This is an inanimate object, a non-living, non-sentient object that is causing you suffering. So this is the second type of patience that one generates. So this patience towards living beings that cause you suffering, and patience towards things that are not living beings that cause you suffering. So these are two ways that one can divide patience, and then I've explained the other way by three. And Dene?
Geshe Lharampa Treatise majo dans
Dene?
ana gawa leje gawa ngage gawa yiji gawa saju na ngala soba tesu kande nyane je ba ina gabujin nyane je gores ne tu te majo dans ne joa je je mas kali khana je je mares tondre abu je gorson din sar majo dans od kale ju.
So enthusiastic about whatever virtue you set out to cultivate. So one creates virtue through his or her body, speech, and mind. So these are the outlets. This is how we create virtue. So here it's saying that you become joyful about engaging in virtue through your body, speech, and mind. In whatever virtue you set out to do through your body, speech, and mind, you become joyful about. And so this enthusiasm has joy within it. So the word that we're using in the one in the Tibetan, the enthusiasm is joyful enthusiasm. You become joyful about creating this virtue. And because of that, it says, so you do not get dispirited by either of these. Because you have this enthusiasm, you don't get tired, you don't get dispirited by either of these types of suffering that comes from animate or inanimate. Ngay sampa detsko the precision mind practice set out. Dikso.
What the Geshe General to the major je da Chenrezig nanju mutuba the Chenrezig and Chenrezig na chu kan da sen ne bi chadle Chenrezig marba and Shijang chaba je semi go na rayu la be men handu ju tengen je de Chenrezig is what the jayo Shijang chaba je semi go na rayu la be men handu ju tengen la gongba yinda lang gongba yinda ko tembe je na panne de Senji la Chenrezig res mutuba dans Latung se dat ne bitu ne jebar je ne Xinjiang ge semba zhongsu na ane Latung se de Latung ge den yul mutuba gomba zhugi sa tejen dubal dubi zhugi zhangya sa zhud de da zhud shuo se na Longshui nieba la ma dawa dang, ma nieba la ma dawa de ji jie. De yue na, cudin sungwa nebi, cudin lan jing gui ba dang nieba jie. Sentient dang sentient ma yinbi dunga la den na zhong yu, dunga la zue bi ma zhuwa dang song ba jie. Ge shawa jendawa la yang, zhu yang, zhui de ma zhuwa dang je ba jie. Chenrezig nanju mutuba da ngaba je, Latung nanju mutuba gongba de zhud de yinba, tejen duba la dubi, zhud zhangya ba.
They Shintu.
Shintu tere luwa.
Okay. Kale.
Kale ju.
Nga the chikshina shine seni yure then yine chikshina me detsko. So what Rinpoche gave the definition of calm abiding, which I can't possibly just quickly, and I think I might have it, but I can't find it, so we'll see if we can find it maybe at the break. So basically it's Rinpoche is saying that it's holding the mind on one specific, so it's the sem ne is abiding, so it's holding the mind on an object. It was much longer than that, though. But Rinpoche said that the main pith of it is this holding of the mind. So let me just look in. Okay, so we see that the six perfections are presented in a complete way in this piece right here. So we find, so let me just read on. You cultivate a non-discursive yoga of meditative serenity and non-discursive yoga of insight. So here we find the union of calm abiding and special insight. So then how do we say that all of the six perfections are presented? So we see them presented here just as we read. So the first perfection, the perfection of generosity, is presented here. It says, you are indifferent to resources because you are not attached to those you have and do not pursue those you lack. Since you then have the ability to safeguard precepts, you adopt and respect ethical discipline. So you see the first resources. So through generosity, you get resources. So we find the first of the 6 perfections presented, then the second of the 6 perfections presented with respect to ethical discipline. And then number 3, you are patient with the suffering that comes from living beings and inanimate things. So the 2 types of patience presented here. And then joyous perseverance is presented, and you are enthusiastic about whatever virtue you set out to cultivate, so you do not get dispirited by either of these. So here we find patience and then effort, or joyous perseverance. And then we find the last 2, concentration and wisdom. You cultivate a non-discursive yoga of meditative serenity. So here this is speaking of the calm abiding, and a non-discursive yoga of insight. So this is referring to special insight. So there we see both concentration and wisdom being presented. So that's what those 2 are referring to, and then those 2 make up for the last 2 of the 6 perfections. So we find the perfections presented here along with their concomitants, if you, let's see here, with what they, not only you see the presentation of the 6, but what happens because of the practice of the 6, if you will. I think that's the best way to translate it. So I haven't found what I was looking for, but it's a fixed placement of the mind, and through it you find, Rinpoche mentioned the pliancies of the mind. Through these concentration you get a pliancy of the mind and a pliancy of the body that occurs. So it's a strict, specific thing that occurs from this samadhi, from this calm abiding. So I'll see if I can find the exact how it's defined at the break or something. But the basic point of it is, I'm just seeing if it's right here. It probably is. Calm abiding. Yeah, it's Sampa.
Shene de la donse que je dans Shiruba dans ba demoires. Shene Shiruba la yore, namba la yore. Yude dans de ziji de nebe, dinga de shene so de. An su ju bi shira. Shira la don ja wo. Da namba je na, donye la me bi shene de la don. Donye la ziji de nebe dinga de la shene la wo. Da donye la shen Sheyang Shembe Guna, Jeba Shebe de Ladon, or the Teji Sandan Zala Kuayu, Zaw Jebe Neva Matonjin, Shenel Handante, Sheraje, Jizan Jejan, Momodobe, Ilu Puta Jebe Sherade, Yume Shenel Dala Junan, Tade Omi Chunerje, or the Lari Duden the Lord de Marve. Teji Sandan Zala Kuayis, Dingan the Zang Gumba in our day. Kuizawad mebazu tugu mares, nyomul ne tugu mares. Teji santen san la kuwa yui, zawa jubi neba matonshinis. Tengen zi zang gongba ina, no kuizawa denzil ne tugu mares. Teji santen san la kuwa yui, zawa jubi neba matonshin. Shene landan te shira je, jizanji, shene meba ji, tengen zi meba je, shira kazi jeba ina, ane wate
Less so.
Shene Sembe Guna and things Shirok Jebaina, then you did Moya, Netudan Dajun, Netudan Rajas and the Dajun Batuya, teaching in our Tolon Jonathan, going to
Okay, less so. Okay, so I found calm abiding is explained as the mind's abiding on the abiding. So that's the mind's abiding, or placement, the mind staying placed on an internal object of observation upon the calming of distraction to the outside. So there's it's this mind's placement on a fixed object of observation, and it says that it says another way. defined as a stabilization arisen from meditation and conjoined with a special pliancy. So those are the 2 points Rinpoche made about the pliancy. So we see that it's calm abiding defined as a stabilization arisen from meditation and conjoined with special pliancy. Then etymologically, calm abiding is explained as the mind's abiding or being placed on an internal object of observation upon the calming of distraction of the outside. So just those were the definitions that Rinpoche just quickly went over, and you can see those are the points. So then now Buddhists and non-Buddhists both have the ability to achieve these calm abidings, these levels of meditative concentration. So what is the difference between what the Buddhists do and the non-Buddhists do? So the difference is the object of observation. So the object of observation for a Buddhist is emptiness. So what one is concentrating on is the nature of reality. And this is different than what a non-Buddhist concentrates on. So whereas a non-Buddhist would use maybe a stick as an object of observation and be able to achieve a calm abiding, in the Buddhist tradition, the object of observation that differentiates it is emptiness, is the nature of reality. And we find in Lama Tsongkhapa's Lamrim Duden, the abbreviated stages of the path, where it says that in a state of merely single-pointed meditative concentration, you do not have the insight which gives you the ability to cut the root of cyclic existence. Moreover, devoid of a path of mental quiescence, discriminating awareness by itself cannot turn back the delusions, no matter how much you analyze them. Therefore, on the horse of unwavering mental quiescence, the masters have mounted the discriminating awareness that is totally decisive about how things exist. Then, with the sharp weapon of the middle path logic, devoid of extremes, they have used wide-ranging discriminating awareness to analyze properly and destroy all underlying supports for their cognitions aimed at grasping for extremes. In this way, they have expanded their intelligence, which has realized voidness. I, the yogi, have practiced just that way. If you would also seek liberation, please cultivate yourself in this same way. So that's from the abbreviated stages of meditation, where Lama Tsongkhapa states that merely achieving the mental calm abiding, this single-pointed concentration, is not enough. This mental quiescence is not enough. It has to be observing something which can cut the root of cyclic existence. You can't just be staying in a state of focus and have that in some way get rid of cyclic existence or suffering. It has to get rid of it somehow by cutting its root. And the way that that's done is by having the concentration focused on a correct object of observation that can do that can cut the root of cyclic existence. So that is the single-pointed concentration united with the special insight, which is the understanding of emptiness as its object of observation. Special insight is wisdom. So this union is what allows one to be free. One without the other will not produce any effects in terms of getting rid of cyclic existence. They both must be there in order to get rid of cyclic existence. So, Balasam.
Leso. Longshou ngoba magadans. Longshou ngoba magadans. Tene ragu ni la majudan. Ne yuru nabar matuba. Tejen tada andar se tos. Tejen dubala dubi jangan to wande ten go mare. Longshou ngoba magasa denba.
Yes.
Longshou nye bala machaba no. Manye bala tene. Tene nye ju mares. Ngoba magawa dans. Tene te yena chudin sone be tela koba dans. Raugu sa marbe. Raugu dans. Gobadans. That's the generation doing the same marriage doing Majoadan, Majoa Majoadan, Gesha Chenrawa, La Juan, and the true Majoa Niro, Majoa Nide. Nila Majodans, Tama de Kundua, Tanju Nabamatusa Sineji. Nenju naba matuba, tijin tata duba, wotanole, shena ladongin zulmenwa.
Rinpoche, the Gongel Mepechik, Nigare.
Shena the ladongin, shena ladong. Nenju.
The Ngama.
Nenju nabar matuba.
Ngama, the nature of the Ngama. The
Ngama to
Rakuni, the Rapguni la Mijudang.
Rapguni la Mijudang.
The Nigare, Rajuni.
Nide, Longshe Nebale Machabatan.
Okay.
Nebale Majoas.
Gongel Mepechik.
Then Gisha Walla Majoas Niba, or the Nidua, Majudang. German Kunderendua. Nenju Naba Matuba said the Shenet Hadon Demendo. Tijin Tata the Setos, Tijin Dubal to be Jangan Ditanguaris, what the Sungo said. Shezo.
The Longshu Lompar Mika.
Longshu Ngoba Magatan said, Nebala Machabatan, Manyabaton to Manya, the Nidabarba, Magatan. Ragu Longshu, the Yena Tudin Sun Nebizella Kobachi Ures.
The Ragu.
Ragu said.
The Drawagare. Ragu. Sutrim.
Longshu Yena Labasun Negres. Tudin Laba, Dingazi Laba, Shira Laba to Sun Negres. Then Tudin Kobachi Ures. Tudin La Cardian Kobachi was now. Tudin La Dene and Shama Dental Jigger. Tabat Taji Shama, Sanji Tores, or Tendukorajo,
Let's so, where do we find these points that are made? So I think I just need to read up to it. These six comprise all the Mahayana practices through which you advance by the six perfections. For you accomplish these practices in stages by means of the six perfections. You do not need any more than these six perfections. The ornament of the Mahayana Sutras says, the entire Mahayana is summed up in not delighting in the resources, reverence, not being dispirited in two ways, and the yoga free of discursiveness. 2, 4, 5, 6. So how does this translate? How does this relate? So not delighting in the resources is referring to the first point of generosity. From generosity comes the resources. So, not being attached or to those you have, and not being attached to those you want, things you want. And then the next category says reverence. Reverence is referring to ethics, because in dependence upon ethical behavior, one is able to achieve rebirth in the higher realms. One is able to achieve liberation. One is able to achieve complete Buddhahood. So one is revering, one is bowing down, paying homage to ethics. Not being dispirited in two ways is being patient about the two types of suffering of animate and inanimate objects, and then having joyous perseverance. And then having joyous perseverance in terms of being enthusiastic about whatever you set to cultivate. And so not being dispirited, not being dispirited. So it's patience and joyous perseverance. Patience from the suffering, and then joyous in terms of actions. And then the other two, concentration and wisdom, the yogas, and the yogas free of discursiveness. So that's referring to concentration and wisdom, free of signs, free of true existence, true signs, true reality, true existence. So free of discursiveness, having some true identity. Ngay tsampa kanga lasam.
Tadana ma tadana teaching la juba doba dang shindu nyasu malemba doa ngewa os tapete with the jack hashanga de hashanga jian yila ma jiba ta digere ma do shindu ji da nyala je go mares
Lesa.
and go yin and ma go samalo tenzin is tenzin and chikabaji sujo na ya nasa tangare chinabu sujo na nasa tangare tin kabe nyama digere tin nabe nyama digere go na ma go samalo tenzin is or the bonja is the marba or the hashang de bagade inside.
So then it says, given this, it is a contradiction to want to enter the Mahayana and yet to reject the practice of the six perfections. So here, perhaps this is negating Hashan's view, Hashan holding the view that all conceptual thought was non-virtue, was wrong, ultimately, and that it was like thinking that there was a difference between getting bit by a white or a black dog. Both bites are a bite. It doesn't matter. And then Hashan used to say that it doesn't matter if a cloud is a black cloud or if it's a white cloud. Both types of clouds cover the sun. So meaning that conceptuality, whether it's virtue or non-virtue, covers reality. So Hashan was incorrect in that view. And this entire section negates his whole view that conceptuality is a hindrance to enlightenment, whereas this view is that it's necessary for enlightenment. This assertion is that conceptuality is necessary to become enlightened, whereas Hashan negated it and stated that you couldn't have it to become enlightened. So it just negates the wrong view that Hashan brought up.
What about the teaching dubala to be drunk? And what about the inside?
Ngapa.
Teaching dubala to be drunk. And what about the inside? Ngapa ina hamu didn't ngapa.
This jipa tsar. This jipa. Ngapa gutso.
That
the Lam top.
Lama taji naba taji be on to zebi drunks. Lama taji naba taji on to zebi. And the shadow drunk. Shindu drunk and tu simbi yuji longshu la machabi lama tau ne jimba des tatin ma ya lokaji leungduwa lama taji naba tanji lama taji naba tanji bi ondun zibi jange tau na shira tau sana so nangsu Shirosana Shigsu, Tausia, Tauchan Shingwina, Tauji Naba Tanjibi, Ondo, Zibi Jangan, two Simbi Yuji, Longshola Machabi, Lama Taune, Jimba Desa. Susula, then two Simbi, Yuji, Longshola. 수술 예배 농쇼여로다 사다라서 감발라서 어떤 좀 수술을 네 투심비 유주 농쇼에 들어가서 감바다 사다가서 감발려에 들어오다 농쇼라 마차비 라모터네 마차비 터가르스나 짐바레스 짐바다도 여바이나 어들 녀분도 그래서 인사를
Okay.
동안라 공배 들라 잡아도 되시로스 동안라 공배 네 르롱시 신와다라 공바시바이나 안 들라 잡아도 되는 거です되시로스
So
about the jiju나.
Okay, so now that finishes number 4 and now we're on number 5. The fixed number of perfections in terms of the completeness of paths of method. So there were 6 categories. We finished number 4. This is number 5. The path, i.e. method, for not being attached to the resources that are your possessions is generosity, because you become free from attachment to your things by becoming habituated to giving them away. So here, this is the first point. So all of these are to prove that there's a fixed number of perfections. So all of these categories, the point of them is to prove that there are a fixed number. So this is the fixed number in terms of completeness of paths and methods. So just anybody who's new or, anyway. So that's the point here. All of these sections have to do with proving there's a fixed number. So this first one deals with generosity. That's number one. Of the six perfections, generosity is number one. Let me see. So it says, how do you not become attached to your resources, your things, your drinks? Rinpoche said that the things you have to eat, things you have to drink, how do you not be attached to them? You share them, you give them away. The word share could also be used in this example where it says to become habituated to giving them away. You could become habituated to sharing. Could also be translated there. So anyway, giving them away. So this is how, if you become not attached to your things, you give them away. Digso. Rinpoche, the puik, the jimba, the ngatsu longshu, the meijenda, the te, the sena nepo, the chapa nepo kare, the jimba.
To simbi da susul yebe sa to the kamba da to yedro da. What the chaba jeju mare so mar to mar ba.
Lesso.
Ne macha be lama ta ne jimba res jimba.
The meijenda kanga te ngatsu nyamdu ngaja yuna ngatsu ni jatong
jendal des ya de
jenda te.
Jenda mundu oten.
Okay.
To simbi susul yebe le longjo la so ba kamba da o to so kan se de mar ba. To chaba jeju mares.
Lesso.
Macha be lama ta macha be Nebukariyo arasana jimba res jimba. Jimba tamba ina, and jimba tamba ina ote longshul chaba dungo nagares.
Then the NGK, the jimba, the Sikh pechachegamari, the chala kanga konte, the chipa, the nge ja yuna ngat tungamari me jenda jate. The peak.
Yuji longshul la tu simbi zero, susul yebirwa. Susul ye simbi, yuji longshul da kamba dan, sa tong la su tu su marbe. Tu simbi yuji longshul la chaba jiju mares. Chaba de nyabu karu gongurus na jimba tang gurus. Longshul jimba tang jaba ina, de chaba de nyabu gurus. Jimba de. Dongwa la gombe tela chaba de jeju. Jimba tang de gomba yoba ina, and longshul chaba yungu mare. Chaba de jeju. Tambo.
So if you become familiar, I was asking Rinpoche if he's saying that there really isn't this distinct, clear. Saying is this really saying that you should just give away, like if you have tea, don't drink it, give it to someone else. And Rinpoche, that's why we were talking back and forth, and he was reading it again and again to see if the idea of share or the idea of just giving it away, because he's saying your house, your drinks, if you give your house away, you have nowhere to live. They go the trua the ngatsu kamba yuna, then me jenda te ngatsu kabarde. Then ge trua. The ngatsu the chala kanga me jenda te injike the nge chala kanga nga chapa yuna me jenda nge chala tamche te. The pui chipa nge chala yuna chala kon jenda te.
Beil de tu simbi yuji longshus tu simbi susul yebe kamba dan jala la so
lesso
lagro del chaba jeju mares and chaba nebu gargon gosna jimba dan gors jimba da gaze
Okay, two check. So the word in Tibetan doesn't say give them away. It says generosity with your things, being generous with them. So in Tibetan it says, this is why the translation is so important, because somebody might go home and give everything they have away and think that now they have the perfection of generosity. Really, as Westerners, we're pretty extreme in our actions. So it doesn't say that. It says the word for generosity is there, where it says giving your stuff away. So it says to become familiar with, and the word in the Tibetan is like the same word for meditation. So you're meditating on, you're becoming familiar with being generous with your things. So that's really what the pith of the Tibetan is. So let's reread it. So the path, i.e. method, for not being attached to the resources that are your possessions is generosity, because you are free from attachment to your things by being habituated to giving them away. So it's becoming familiar with generosity is the point here. Let me see. Okay.
다 유마토바로 유마토바 수술래
61. Oh, that's where
유마토바
Yomatuba.
아니 마오바 모다 뇨고 그래 잘라 뭐 뇨고로 어디서로도 말봐 아니 모다 뇨고나 마토바로 마오바 뇨고로 아니 잘라 뇨고 잘라 마오바 뇨고야도 줄래 유마토바 대토비 된도 대용하고 된도 전두장으로 좋아져오르다 매전제오르와 네 대제발 나이 제주마 나이 돈비 터네 주tin 농쇼 마오바 투비 제도 나바 영화도 본고에서 대본비 터네 주tin 니제 주tin데 글롱도 도발라 내발라 레지 타이 나이 타지 먼저 싫어스 그런 거 말 내발한테는 레지 타이 나이도 용 말해서 나이 보는 그래서 인사 주딩 뭐야 나이 돼도 나리
이네 수침 golong kona yomare the method for restraining. Oh, boo. Okay, so the method. So now, the method for restraining yourself from the distraction of trying to possess what you do not possess is ethical discipline. For when you maintain a monk's vows, I'll look and see if it says ordination or specifically monk's vows. You do not have all the distractions of making a living. So here it's showing how ethical discipline, so ethics, here is specifically the individual liberation vow of the ordained, is saying that you don't have that same, it's saying distraction of trying to possess if you have that ethical discipline. And it doesn't mean that you've just taken some vows, it means you have that ethical discipline. So it's saying possess. So it's not just saying here that you've taken a vow. It's saying you possess what the vow you've taken is, which is in this case the ethical discipline. You have those ethics which make you not want to need to possess, be distracted by possessions. Digsung
세제 모동 타네 저바데스 세제 르 모동 타데 저바공아데스 저바공바 이나는 세제 르동 마레스 타네 저바데 너바시비 동에 단지지 이 문윤시로사 저바도 공바 이나는 세제 르동 마레스 세제 모동 타데 저바공아데스 저바데 너바시비 동에 단지 제 너바시비 동안 단지지 문종시로스 어떨 가서 나반 좀 말했으니 이 문종시로
네파 정말 가 양저스러나
sentient mouton tonne, sentient le mouton, sentient le ton Dieu mares, sentient le mouton tau cariorsana, zoba gonadres, zoba de, noba shibi de un temps jeje, ne noba shibi de un temps jeje, yi manjun shiro sa zoba de yoba ina, noba shibi de un temps jeje yung mares, yi manjuna, an zoba yabung gres.
Oh, Lesso. Okay. So I did look it up. It says, for instance, when you maintain a fully ordained monk's vow, so it reads it as an example of why. It says the method for restraining yourself from the distraction of trying to possess what you do not possess is ethical discipline. For instance, when you maintain a fully ordained monk's vows, you do not have all the distractions of making a living. So that's how it reads in the Tibetan. And then the method for not abandoning living beings is patience, because you do not despair at the suffering caused by the harm others inflict. So when we look at the various types of patience, we have the patience which is patient about when others try to harm you, when sentient beings try to harm you. And then there's the patience related to the Dharma. So if you have this patience, Rinpoche is saying, then you will not abandon living beings because you aren't bothered by the suffering that comes from doing so. So interacting with beings, you'll want to free them because you won't be bothered by the suffering that comes from that process. So that's how patience in this case helps you not abandon living beings, and how Dikso.
다수주 뢰저거와 나게거와 이제거와 두수 야 빼고 그래서 야 모르던 그래서 디터드 가르선 준르레스 네 거비 터네 준르데 준르 담발레 제포 주시로 준르 담바 이나네 뢰저거와 나게거와 이제거와 야 빼고 그래서 자처 띵선도 자그래서 페이셔로 표현 주시로스 What about
the method to increase virtues is joyous perseverance, because you increase them when you joyously persevere at what you undertake. When you engage in virtue through your body, speech, and mind, doing so joyously with much effort increases the amount of virtue that you achieve, because you're doing it with much more effort and with much more intention and so forth. So it increases the amount of virtue that you have. So when you do something positive through your body, speech, or mind, if the virtue that you do is coupled with joyous perseverance, it increases that virtue. Dikson.
That diba number you tone, passing tamani, the diba number you taught, diba de la nuji de shidini marbe, nuji de shidini. Tauma tanju ajena, denzin la nuji, Charles, Numobadan, denzin basal, samala nuji is nuji. What the Timmy Dajumbo, what is Bondo is nuji. That she did the Karja was na. And denzig basha de jaws about denzig basha. What she did is this song by Jiba to Montu. She did basha de Montuna and Sanjin is. What does the lady say?
It says then, the methods for clearing away obscurations are the final two perfections, because meditative stabilization clears away the afflictions and wisdom clears away the cognitive obscurations. So, here, this is speaking of the obstructions, the afflictive obstructions, and the obstructions to omniscience. So a Hinianist, a foe destroyer, gets rid of the afflictive obstructions, because according to the Madhyamika Prasangika view, the middle way consequence view, if it is grasping at true establishment, it's necessarily afflictive obstruction. So this grasping at true establishment is considered the afflictive obstruction. So these are gotten rid of through the various wisdoms. And once they're removed, then one is liberated. One is in the state of nirvana. So when he or she removes the grasping at true establishment, the afflictive obstructions are removed. And once the afflictive obstructions are removed, the grasping at true establishment is removed. So what is left over are the imprints of this grasping. Now, the Hinayana foe destroyer still has these imprints. These are called the obstructions to omniscience. And those, once removed, produce a Buddha. So the Buddha is the only being who has removed these obstructions to omniscience. And these are removed through the Bodhisattva grounds. So the methods of clearing away the obscurations. What are the obscurations? The afflictive obstructions and the obstructions to omniscience. And how are they gotten rid of? They are gotten rid of by calm abiding and special insight. Digsung.
And dancing in Yabuta Demet to Shiro Gurmadu, Demet to Shiro Man, dancing no to Mares.
So the grasping at phenomena is being truly established is the root of cyclic existence. It is the understanding that all phenomena lack a truly established self that gets rid of this mistaken view. So that the root of this is grasping, is this mistaken view that believes that everything is truly established. There has some inherent singularity. So this is what is meant in the Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge, where it says, seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature. And then it also says things like, there's no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, etc. So this negation is negating the truly existent eye, ear, nose, tongue, etc. Not the existence of those things. It's the true existence of those things that is being negated.
Taba dream Mahimba Machina, Taba dreams you no maro. Taba dream Mahimba the Shesuna, dreams you no. Chuna Demo Maru the Shesuna, Denzil no degree, Denzil no suna, Denzil no degree, Dungel no.
So when one mistakes a rope for a snake, there is only one view that will get rid of the mistaken view that thinks that the rope's a snake. And that is that the rope is a rope, and that the rope is not a snake. Once one recognizes that it's a rope and not a snake, everything that comes from thinking it's a snake is cleared away. Likewise, the only thing that gets rid of the grasping at true establishment is the understanding that phenomena are not truly established. And once, like in the case of the rope and the snake, once one gets rid of the grasping at true establishment, everything that grasping creates is gotten rid of. So once the grasping at true establishment is gotten rid of, the afflictions are gotten rid of, and then the karma is gotten rid of, and therefore the cyclic existence is gotten rid of. So this is how the process works of the and how the process works of getting rid of the afflictions. So you need So it's necessary though to establish by way of a correct sign this lack of true establishment. It's not something that's just easily understood. we have to use signs in order to understand what it means. So what is the sign that we use? We say that phenomena are not truly established because they dependently originate. They are interdependent. They are a collection of things that come together, and then these things that come together serve as a basis of designation. This basis of designation then is suitable to be named as this or that. So then it is named as this or that, and then it becomes that thing. But there is no that thing separate from that process of naming a collection of parts that serve as a basis of designation. So that's what is meant by phenomena are not truly established because they dependently originate. The dependent origination is how they come into being through this collection, and then a name. And without that collection and that name, that thing isn't there. So that's the point, and how we establish lack of true establishment. It's not something we just understand immediately. We understand it by using signs and correct signs. Dixon.
다 장수주도 세제 안 주는 데만 말고도 시에서나 안에 종랑거서 되시기로 말 종랑제 되네 다 돈이는 라동까지 도주나 종랑은 줄랑 버려서 대야당가데 가데 말바 종랑은 줄랑 버려서 줄랑제 다 돈이 무슨 도디 줄랑은 종랑 버려서 가데
So, how does this relate to the pathways? There are 5 Mahayana pathways. There are 5 paths as a note for Hinayana as well and Tantra. But in this case, we'll speak of just the Mahayana Sutra vehicle. There are 5 pathways: the path of accumulation, the path of preparation, the path of seeing, the path of meditation, and the path of no more learning. So, how does one go through these, and what does emptiness have to do with anything? So at the path of accumulation is when a being becomes a bodhisattva. Once he or she generates bodhicitta, and has, during that time also, an understanding of emptiness in an intellectual way. Not through signs or reason, not through concentration, but there's an understanding of emptiness at that point. But the main sign that that being has become a bodhisattva, that being is on the path of accumulation, is that he or she achieved bodhicitta. That's the entry into the path of accumulation, the generation of bodhicitta. And then, so he or she then is studying emptiness, and once there is a union of calm abiding and special insight related to emptiness as the object of observation, then that being moves from the path of accumulation to the path of preparation. And so it goes through the 3 stages of the path of accumulation, and then he or she gets a union of calm abiding and special insight, and then goes through the 4 stages of the path of preparation. So path of accumulation, 3 stages, path of accumulation, 3 stages, path of preparation, 4 stages. And then once there is a direct, valid cognition of emptiness, a direct perception without the use of signs that were necessary at the path of preparation, he or she moves from the path of preparation to the path of seeing. So at the path of seeing, one sees emptiness, and that's the door into the path of seeing. And then the rest of the paths are more realizations in a subtler way up to the path of no more learning. So from the path of seeing to the path of meditation, there are more and more subtle understandings, and then the path of no more learning to where no more learning, then the person is a Buddha. So this is what's going on during those stages. The path of accumulation is the generation of bodhicitta. They go through 3 stages in studying emptiness, and then there begins to be a calm, abiding, and special insight union as an object of with emptiness as the object. Goes through those stages, and then then once one has this correct sign and this union of calm abiding and special insight related to emptiness, then there's a direct perception of that emptiness. That's the path of seeing. And as a translator's note, that's the first bodhisattva ground, the path of seeing, after one is released from the path of seeing. So those 5 paths we find in the Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge. It says, Teata Om Gate Gate Parasangati Bodhisoha. That mantra, that Sanskrit mantra embedded in the sutra, refers to the 5 paths. The first Gate refers to the path of accumulation. The second Gate refers to the path of preparation. Paragate refers to the path of seeing. Parasamgati refers to the path of meditation, and Bodhisoha refers to the path of no more learning. So we find these 5 paths even expressed in the Heart Sutra in an implicit way, and that is what the meaning of the, those are the practices and the realizations that occur on those 5 pathways. Diksun. So all of the pathways of the Hinayana and Mahayana are said to be summarized in that one mantra, Teata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangati Bodhisoha. The entire path the Buddha has presented of the lesser vehicle and the great vehicle is found implicitly in that mantra.
Tantra the shake Marasil Chibaina, and the cable Kani, Kashi, or the Tantra Tango waters, Kashi Tango Makani and Wosadas.
Then the Kashi,
the Parang of the Parang, the Buddhism, how long the Tango the Tango Marisana, Kabakashi Tango waters, Ale, Kashi Tango Marisana to voice at it.
Gangisina do core one. Okay, Chikshina there. The Jutsen there, Rinpoche? Jutsen Gare. The Ngalam Nga Yerube? Nga? Solan Julang. Okay, so anyway, so there are 2 different, sorry about that, keep hitting my headset and he's got to readjust. There are 2 different schools in the tantric vehicle. One school says that the 5 tantric paths are presented in the Heart Sutra. The other school says no. That's not the case. They aren't. It's not presented. So there are 2 different ways of thinking. Rinpoche said it's a vast explanation we're not going to get into because I started to try. And he said that it's a lot of information. There's scholars that debate about it. There's 2 different classes. One says yes, one says no. And it has to do with the varying, also explanations that do with the generation and completion stages of Tantra and the yoga with and without signs and how they relate to it. So that's why it's debated, because there are these other divisions that don't seem to correspond. So so
Sajeba Tudule, and then was Yamunga Bonus. Sajeba Dramata, Sajan Shenjushin, so Manjubale. Sajeba Tubate, Dajumotuna.
Okay, so
Yamunga.
So it is said that the afflictive obstructions are completely gotten rid of by the Bodhisattva on the 8th Bodhisattva ground. So it's stated at the 8th Bodhisattva ground that Bodhisattva is a foe destroyer. But there's still remaining obstructions to omniscience that are gotten rid of, and those last grounds that differentiate them from a foe destroyer of the Hinayana and become a foe destroyer of the Mahayana. So when one sees emptiness, has a direct valid cognition of emptiness, at that point he or she enters the first Bodhisattva ground, and then there are 9 levels of negativities that are gotten rid of throughout various stages. So there are the 9 are they read something like the grade of great, medium, and small, the medium of great, medium, and small, the small of great, medium, and small. 3, 6, 9. They read. I think that's it. I think they read in some way like that. So there are various abandonments. So it is the. Here they are. This is it. So the. Let's go.
시지 바자 중문이 전부송 바자들 전이 중문신에 전부대 베지 사제바 배가 보면 사제바 도마되게 녀지 보고 자중바도 사제마 제바 달 타마되게 시지 전부도 보면 제바제 아니 예바데 사고바고 저바 송바데 사주바 보는 상제하거든 면로
Gupa, the dean, Shiji dean, Sagupa. Then Sajupa, Tambo, the Chamo Chuon. Okay, so the way that the obstructions are negated is that the afflictive obstructions are gotten rid of through the various 8 bodhisattva grounds. At the 8th bodhisattva ground, it is said that the Mahayanist is the same place that the Hinayanist who has completed the path would be. So that the 8th bodhisattva ground, it says that they they've completed the Hinayana path, if you will, completed all of the things that a Hinayanist would, and then they begin to eliminate what they sought to overcome in the first place in the Mahayana, the obstructions to omniscience. So the way that works is that the second part of the 8th bodhisattva ground, the big obstructions to omniscience are removed. So there are various ways that it's explained, but the big ones are removed. Then the 9th bodhisattva ground, the middle obstructions to omniscience are removed. And then in the first part of the 10th bodhisattva ground, the coarse, small obstructions to omniscience are removed. And the last part of the 10th bodhisattva ground, the subtle, small obstructions to omniscience are removed. So we have more subtler and subtler and subtler obstructions to omniscience removed as one goes from the 8th, 9th, and 10th bodhisattva ground. And once one completes the 10th bodhisattva ground, that's the line of demarcation between sentient being and Buddha. So once one finishes the 10th bodhisattva ground, then one becomes a Buddha. And the first 8 get rid of the same things the Hinayanist does in terms of obstructions to, afflictive obstructions to liberation. And then the obstructions to omniscience are gotten rid of by way of the second part of the 8th bodhisattva ground on up. Selpo Lobsang Rinpoche, Gangisina, Hakins Pecha Rinpoche.
Senja Zama Sentele, or the Nudit City Puag Nubatan, Chutanji Nubayores, Sanjik Ri Chabi.
So all sentient beings have the ability to get rid of the afflictive obstructions and the obstructions to omniscience. All of them have this. All of them have this Buddha potential. So there's no one who does not have the potential to do so. And anybody who's interested in this topic on how these are all removed, if in Jeffrey Hopkins' Meditation on Emptiness, it goes through in a section how each ground gets rid of the coarse afflictions, innate afflictions, and then how the obstructions to omniscience are gotten rid of. So there's a clear explanation that Roy Lee, Rinpoche's old translator, used to use to explain this topic when we went through the Heart Sutra. So it's a very good resource for this. Okay, Tuche.
Diba Nabajun Ton, Pajin Tamani, this Diba Nabajun, you did the city, naba jun ta bunga ga ta de pajin tamani de tinganzi loba da shidoji loba ni de tamani de sandenji nyumo ba da shidoji ane shidi naba yung shiros ane tinganzi loba la de nyumo ba ngunyu gres ane latung shiroji shidi naba wade latung shiro la de ne nyumo ba shidi ngapong tu gres shidi naba yung shiros di shir ane drudu changa des di shir Lama taji naba taji to on zene drudu changa se do deres da
The methods for clearing away obscurations are the final two perfections, because meditative stabilization clears away the afflictions, and wisdom clears away the cognitive obscurations. Thus, the perfections are fixed as 6 in number. Khensur Rinpoche.
Ta drudu karasana tusimbi yu longsho la macha bi Lama ta nijimba des de gombe de la chabat de je tombe marwa yu matu bu do nayi bomba chudin des ni ba je chudin de glongi domba la nebe la je tai nayi ta je mjo shiros seje maton yu ta ne zoba des somba je neba jebe donga ta ji ye mjo shiros somba goabe ton tundu des jebaje ane tundu tambe goana pyo ju jis yete mal tundu jinde sun yete mal tundu jinde jin sonon lu su ni ji jo tundu kan do ba jo ba sa de jeba yin chua wos tundu de go de yete ya pyo yin ba da tundu tambale tijin teme langa ya pyo wa tundu de yin ba tundu pyo ju shiro sa deba naba ju ta ne shine de la dong ni ro zhou du de yin ba de shine la dong ni de san de ji nyomo ba da shira ji shiri naba ju shiro di shir zhou du zhang ge de wo da de ma da ma do de jeng long zhang ma ba
So, yu
na la ne ma cha lam tamboje de tu nai domba chutin sa je sijen ma dong yu phe wa da ma dong sa de je de ne ya ga ya phe chun de ma ba de ba na ba yu ta ni pa shin ta ma ni zu du de yin sa.
So, again, the path, i.e. method for not being attached to the resources that are your perfections, is generosity, because you become free from attachment to your things by becoming habituated to generosity. The method for restraining yourself from distraction of trying to possess what you do not possess is ethical discipline, for when you maintain a monk's vow, you do not have all the distractions of making a living. The method for not abandoning living beings is patience, because you do not despair at the suffering caused by others, by the harm others inflict. The method to increase virtues is joyous perseverance, because you increase them when you joyously persevere at what you undertake. The method for clearing away obscurations are the final two perfections, because meditative stabilization clears away the afflictions, and wisdom clears away the cognitive obscurations. Thus, the perfections are fixed as 6 in number. And the Mahayana Sutra Alamkara is quoted. The ornament for the Mahayana Sutra states, non-attachment to objects is a path. Another is restraint from the distraction of obtaining them, not abandoning beings, increasing virtues, and clearing away the obscurations are others. So we see non-attachment relating to generosity, restraint from the distraction of obtaining them, being ethical discipline, not abandoning beings, being patience, increasing virtues related to effort. and clearing away the obscurations related to concentration and wisdom. So this is how the quote relates to the fixed number again. Decent.
Da yunal la ne machalang tene te tu nai dongbashi tama de kongdang de kong tama wa de Lama lang tangji yong a de zhou de zhang su song du se na pe wo jian de do de jian yi ro do de jian a yunal la ne machalang te tu nai dongbashi sentient me ton pe wa dans débat number zhong ne de de shi zhong jian xie zuo wo de ba de kong dang de shen duan ji na yin shun yong do mo ro la ma cha bi jin ba dans duan ji na yin gong do mo ro la ma cha bi jin ba看什么了？看什么过不了？对没不当，对没人比那人都不去听，人家对空中马西不是等下的，去听当，时间些眼不长毛心，用年我拉点呢，第一段来什么都比也不能，热不啦，公不到见当是热不公务的是。Gwa zhang ma xin, yuan rinpo, gaba zhang man su tsu sa pa la su, dui rinpo yi dui san shu cha de ji man zhuwa. San shu cha ju ma li zhong ting sa de. Gwa zhang ma xin, dui rinpo, rubi gu ne, pi wa la, te da ki, ne pen san tang na, ne san shu cha ga ma de si, pen san na ya pa tang gu de si, te su gu san tang, nyana ya pa je kin yi na, ne san je gu bong tu gu de si. San tang ba yin na ne san shu cha ga ma res pen drubi go ne pe wa ta da la pen so san bi go ne zhuo zha la ri yu zun zui dang si pen san bi go ne zun zui shu zha bu ji gu re song de sa de zun zui dang nyuan mong go ne ba la san den dang si nyuan mong ba go ne ba la san de Tinga de loba tres. Di sama shidi jomba la ane shiro loba. O de song ting sa. Shiro la. Shiro guba tenba de ne. Shindu la ne ba. Chenmo taro sa. O de sul jiru ma shi o de de su ge shindu la kuwa chi ja chenmo je to gu do song de ta jiru ma shi la kuwa chi bu yung go jiro da. Okay.
The following so Rinpoche reread the ornament. So the quote from the ornament for the Mahayana Sutra states, "Non-attachment to objects is a path. Another is restraint from the distraction of obtaining them. Not abandoning beings, increasing virtues, and clearing away the obscurations are others." So here are the fruits of the six perfections that are presented and showing how they are labeled definitely number 6. The following explanation produces strong conviction about the six perfections. In order to avoid being dominated by the distraction of sensual objects, you need generosity that is free from attachment. To prevent sensory experiences that have not occurred, you need ethical discipline that restrains distraction by things that are pointless, deeds that are wrong by prohibition, or counterproductive, deeds that are wrong by nature. Given that there are a great number of living beings whose behavior is bad and who you are constantly in danger of meeting, you need a powerful conditioning to patience as a remedy for giving up on their welfare in order to increase virtue in terms of the great number of actions and its practice over long periods of time. And you need joyous perseverance that has the intense and long-term enthusiasm that comes from reflecting on the benefits of virtuous actions, etc. In order to suppress afflictions, you need meditative stabilization to destroy their seeds, and the cognitive obscurations, you need wisdom. Okay. Kalosa. So this section we can understand a very small part of. There's a much greater meaning to it, but we're able to, in our limited understanding, be able to understand just a little bit of it based on that. After he read that paragraph, Rinpoche said that. Diksum. Less so. Okay. The tearing a sampa the jatomar, the natsu the chutsuchi dan cheka tsar. The chishin tomar tearing. The jonga mawa then it's tsar. Okay. So the Chiran Sanlogar Yube, the Drupa Gutso Digsun. Okay. So we'd be getting into section. I told Rinpoche we didn't take a break, but that's fine. And to get into number 6 would be a lot of information. So Rinpoche said maybe now would be a good time to have questions. So question and answer period. So if anybody has any questions, if not, I'll ask one of a group of questions that I put together. I'm going to start asking one question per question period that relates to those questions that we talked about. Anyone? Rinpoche, the true, the Mei Sheda Sarpa Lena, the Satambo, Ngama Ngampichu Lobjung Shemason, then Kon Dembaji Anja Gumason, then the Chikshene Kon the Jikten Genda lesson, then Cheran the Sanlo Garyube, then Nampichu Tsawa, Gari Keshu, the Konso the Leitambo, the Nampi Sarpa, the Cheran the Karma Ni Yuna, Cheran Garila. Okay, so so the question is, sorry?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need that. Okay, so the question is, I'm sorry. I thought we had some different system into it. So the question is, if someone were to arrive at a Buddhist center, had no prior understanding of Buddhism, didn't know anything about the Four Noble Truths, had never studied anything about it. I said, perhaps they're from another planet, and they had no understanding of the Dharma. What would you think would be the most important thing to tell that person about Buddhism? If you had a few minutes only, what do you think the most important thing for someone new is? The lapcha, the laronang. Gangisene ngatsu zunju tsokso then triwa kashe zuso.
Nambi chu del jaya ken hama tu manyanda tu nyanda cheyo marasite.
Less so.
Karishe jana an kuru senli je gondogres. An digrosita.
Then nambi chu donda gare.
Nambi chu donda dote. Nambi chu donda dres kalla jana da chemu chunde galande shina la jawnu na odene sheba in kashin digroda. An kuru ne sona da shero la dune ji gono gretana.
So Jantro, Ledre.
Jantro go da, Lende go da, Lamrim da.
That's so.
Akarin che mar guru. Ji laja na kunu lol ji gono da ndigo de.
Then kongi triwa the chu karma ni yuna then nampi chu du she guna. Then a lapcha gare, the me sarpa lena chu karma ni, then konso the jikten jenda drogare, then cheran karma ni yure, then nampi chu dunda dudushe guna, the cheran gare lagare, de triwa.
Nambi chu nachu gunda the jondu mara jondu.
Less so.
Tanjela josun the jondu.
Less so.
Jondu the yena number in this.
Less so.
Number in this roa.
Less so.
Then the Lunaji Amoro, that the number chasadu, Jebu Chungun, Chebu,
Less so.
종은 줄인데 와이나 먹주봉 추진라 소바 먹주라 소바 어두냐나 제고 말이야
Less so.
딩게 냐나 제도 봐이나 라바송 어두서 산다
Less so.
집에 라래 산다나 샤주가 산다 아니 제네들 라동라 소바 어두서 산다고 지로
Touché. So I just reiterate. So Rinpoche said, if somebody has been many times to Buddhist teachings, or if someone has never been to a Buddhist teaching, it doesn't matter because everybody's continuum is different, and where someone is at isn't certain. So in terms of what their reality isn't certain. So everybody has the same potential. And that's what's most important. And so I pressed the issue. I said, how would you summarize, though, if they were not ever going to come back and you needed to summarize Buddhism in a few minutes? Rinpoche said the following. He said that the entrance to Buddhism really is refuge. So speaking about what refuge in the Buddha, refuge in the Dharma, and refuge in the Sangha is truly the first topic of importance for a beginning Buddhist. So the understanding of what those three are would be the entrance into the understanding of Buddhism. But once one has an understanding of what refuge is and has entered that door, because one becomes a Buddhist when he or she goes for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So one becomes a Buddhist by going for... So in order to have a stable refuge, it's necessary to understand what the Buddha jewel is, what the Dharma jewel is, what the Sangha jewel is. So somebody who is very new, that's the first thing that needs to be taught. That's the first thing to learn, is what the Buddha jewel is, what the Dharma jewel is, and what the Sangha jewel is. And then speak about going for refuge to those three jewels. Without knowing what those three are, it's not possible to go for refuge, and there would be no reason to go for refuge. So first, it's a complete understanding of what those three are, and then going for refuge. By going for refuge, that makes you a Buddhist. It doesn't matter if it's a ceremony or not a ceremony. Just by you going for refuge mentally to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, that makes you a Buddhist. That's the qualification. And some would say, to what is a Buddhist, who is a Buddhist? Someone who asserts that the three jewels are their refuge. Others would assert, those who agree with what the three jewels say, but the main understanding is those who assert the three jewels as their refuge. So once one has understood that, so once the explanation and the understanding of the three jewels and refuge is there, then the person has to see what his or her inclination is too. Some people have a stronger connection and affinity to the teachings for beings of small capacity. So those would be the teachings where someone would just throughout their day engage in the ethics which abandons the 10 non-virtuous activities, go for refuge, and the Jipo Chungo, the Jiantro... Less so. So it's very similar to when we look at refuge, looking at a doctor's office. So, for instance, if a doctor prescribes you all of this medicine, prescribes you all of these things to do for your illness, if you don't take the medicine, if you don't do what the doctor says, then you can't be cured. So one has to understand that he or she has a responsibility in taking the medicine and doing the practices. So you see what your affinity is for. Some have an affinity for the small scope teachings where refuge and engaging in ethics, which abandons the 10 non-virtuous activities, becomes important. And then some may have more of an affinity towards just to liberation for themselves alone, to nirvana. And those who have an affinity for that begin studying the three highest higher trainings of ethics, concentration, and wisdom. And then there are those who maybe have an affinity for complete Buddhahood and have the ability to understand what the meaning of the middle way view is, and have the ability to engage in the practices of bodhicitta and then unite the practice of bodhicitta with that calm abiding and special insight that has as its object of observation emptiness. So if you can unite bodhicitta with that emptiness, wisdom, then one can become a Buddha. So it really, once one understands the basics of refuge and why one should go for refuge and what the objects of refuge are, then you find what your affinity is to, what you are connected most to, and begin from there. Study of karma and its results, study of the Lamrim, these are all excellent topics, but the first topic, the first most important thing, is to understand what the Buddha jewel is, what the Dharma jewel is, and what the Sangha jewel is. It's very important. It's important to think a lot over and over again about why am I doing this? Why am I a Buddhist? What is the reason for this? The reason is that I want happiness and I don't want suffering. How can I remove suffering? How can I be at a state of happiness? Like all sentient beings want happiness, I want happiness. Other sentient beings do as well. So I'm doing this so I can become, virtue causes happiness, so I'm engaging in virtue to become happy. So we have to analyze what the reason we're doing this ultimately for is, so that we continue to do it. And also it's so important we think to ourselves, we're sentient beings, we're a human right now. But it's strange, how did this occur? How did this happen? So it's important to think, is there an end? Was there a beginning? These things become important to think about when we observe ourselves. And this all falls into the point of happiness. How far into the future am I looking? So if you can't come up with a series of causes that lead up to where we are now and say that they're from a previous this or a previous that, and we say that this is from a previous moment, previous moment, previous moment, if we can't assert that logically, then that's how you come up with an idea that God just created everything. So the Christian idea is that God created all of this, and there's no need to look to the cause of this or that, because it's clear, it's God. So as Buddhists, we've looked to what the exact causes are. So Buddhists say there's a previous life and there's a future life. What is the correct sign to prove that? So one reason is that we have this consciousness. Where did the consciousness come from? It came from a previous consciousness. We trace it back. We can say that the consciousness of this life came from the intermediate state consciousness, that came from the previous life's consciousness, that came from that intermediate state's consciousness. So we find this beginningless stream of consciousness when we look to where did this consciousness come from. We look for its origin. We find it came from before. So it's where when we look at our consciousness, we look at our life. We say that it came from a previous life that came from a previous life. We say that life has caused life. Just like, where does a mango tree come from? Mango tree comes a previous mango tree from a previous mango tree. We don't find this first. We just say from a previous. So in the same case of this consciousness and the six consciousnesses in our life came from previous. So when we see all of these things, whether they are virtue, whether they are non-virtue, whether they are ethically neutral or not presented in Scripture, all are beginningless. We say that they have beginningless arisal, no beginning to their arisal, no first. So thinking about these things would be very good, no? So that's 6-7 minutes of pretty encapsulated Buddhism. So maybe that's enough. So we'll end there. Tu Chena Rinpoche. The Triwa Kashe Yure, the Jemang E Triwa Nipas. The Ngatsu, the Me Sarpa Sarpa, Gari Yakshu. The Triwa, the Yapudu. So we have the concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. And anyone who's new, if you turn to the page before that, you see Prayer of Refuge and Bodhicitta. That one stanza really summarizes what Rinpoche said a new Buddhist should take with him or her. That one stanza there and what it means. Concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Rinpoche, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tuji Rinpoche Gutsi Shapi Denrama, Latsu Lamrim Chemo Konga Chirama, Sheda Sobodu.